Welcome to the Hidden Palace with Skyblaze.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Skyblaze, and this is the Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. Looking back over the Dreamcast era here today on Hidden Palace, where there were quite a lot of games that sadly never even made it to the console. Just checking my music's working. Okay, it's fine. I am glaring suspiciously at Radio DJ and AltaCast today because I appear to be using like the equivalent of tin cans and a bit of string for my radio setup at the moment. But things seem to be working okay at the moment, I think. Right, so Dreamcast was a sadly underappreciated console in its time, criminally underappreciated console in its time. But there were also several games that never even got to the console. So very recently, our namesake site, nothing actually to do with me, but there is a site called Hidden Palace, which digs up kind of prototype and unreleased games. Worth checking out. They dug up a unreleased Dreamcast title called The Internet Game Pack. This was developed by a company called Visual Concepts back in 2001. This is the same people who have made a number of National Hockey League NHL games for the Dreamcast, as well as Weapon Lord from the Mega Drive. Within the Internet Game Pack, you can play a selection of pretty simple card or board games, such as chess, dominoes, poker, and Go. With most games, you'll only be allowed 2 players, but some do actually allow you to have up to 4 players, including dominoes and poker. You can also have an avatar, of which there is a selection to choose from, as well as an option to make a custom one. During games, you appear to be able to emote with options to taunt your opponents or show up a happy or sad face. People who are familiar with the PS3 era PlayStation Home, this will sound pretty familiar. A lot of the VR, kind of social VR spaces are quite similar to this concept as well. So another way in which the Dreamcast was going to be a bit ahead of its time, had it ever been released. Now this title was originally meant to be included with an issue of the official Dreamcast magazine, but due to this waning popularity of the Dreamcast, it was unfortunately cancelled. One interesting thing to note is that while the game is meant to be played online, you can actually play those little board games, card games and board games offline as well. So, is anything on the chat? Hello, Darren! I've got at least one person who's listening in. I think Kefki's there as well. Hello, Kefki. Kefki's saying, hello, I'll be here listening and making a few redundant and dull comments as usual. Oh, don't say that. We like all comments from our listeners. We welcome all comments. Feel free to chime in whenever you want, Kefki. That goes for everybody else as well. Alright, so let's have some music then. I don't have any of the music from the Internet Game Pack. I'm not sure if it really had a great deal. So instead, Electric Boogaloo requested some music from me. I don't think they're here at the moment. They might have run afoul of the daylight savings difference. So let's have from Propeller Arena, which was another cancelled Dreamcast game. We'll have Good Time Wings, and then from Sega Swirl, we'll have the Timed Level Challenge. So I hope you enjoy that. Oh, we've got another new listener. Hello, Serga. First time I tune into the show. Welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so let's have some music. So we've got Good Time Wings, Propeller Arena, and from Sega Swirl we've got the Timed Level Challenge. So speak to you again after the break.
Falling friends, high fives and goodbye. You're listening to Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.
Sorry, Voice Beater Banana decided to try and hide behind like 14 different tabs. I don't have too many tabs open on this computer. No, certainly not. That was Sega Swirl Level Challenge Timed, Propeller Arena Good Time Wings, which was requested by Electric Boogaloo. My husband Greyfort is saying that Propeller Arena song was almost good, but the singer's voice was a little bit off. They're going for kind of a punk vibe. I can see what they're trying to do. But yeah, his voice is a little bit grating. I think a really good indie punk band would be able to do great things with that entire OST. It deserves some covers, I think, because there is some potentially good stuff in there. Electric Boogaloo. Oh, hey, Electric Boogaloo is here. Hello. Hope we caught your request there, Electric Boogaloo. He's posted a picture of the Sega Swirl snake. Hello, Snakey. Okay. So, does anyone remember Midway? I'm pretty sure you do, because they were pretty famous for, well, at least one set of games. You might remember them. Mortal Kombat, back in ye olden days. Obviously now the Mortal Kombat license have gone to NetherRealm, who were made up of kind of fragments of Midway, who bought up the IP. But they were also known for making other fighting games back in the day. And there was a similar game they were making called X Fighters, which was going to be on the Dreamcast. In this you can play a selection of very exaggerated characters, such as a mad scientist, a space cop, and a warrior from an alien world. It was designed to be a 3D arcade fighter. Sadly, not a great deal else is known about this game, since apparently it didn't get much further than initial concept stage, possibly concept art. The people who were originally on this project were moved by Midway to another fighting game called Ready to Rumble. Twinny on Discord is saying it's a shame how Propeller Arena was shelved. I spoke on Wired, a past broadcast. I did indeed. Propeller Arena was going to be a game where you would fly planes and kind of try and shoot each other down. But quite a few of the arenas that it was supposed to be set in had tall buildings around them. And the game was due to be released on September the 12th, 2001. Yeah, you can see why that one ended up getting shoved in a corner. Electric Boogaloo saying, for those that don't know, most of the Propeller Arena songs were later reused in Virtua Tennis 3 as instrumentals. I had heard that. I haven't actually gone as far as to pick all them out from each other yet. Midway and their sister company at the time, Atari Games, had several cancelled fighters over the years. That is very true. There were that entire era, actually, the entire PS2 Dreamcast era is absolutely littered with fighters that never made it. If you fancy a laugh, though, look up Tattoo Assassins for slightly earlier than that. But yeah, oh wow, that is such a mess. Anyway, I'm going to loop my music before I run out of talk bed. Moving on, Metal Max, also known as Metal Saga, is a vehicle combat RPG game series. That was a sentence I just said. Where you fight as people and tanks against enemy forces. While most of the games in the series came out on Nintendo consoles, Metal Max Wild Eyes would have seen a break from this trend, and it was planned to come out on the Dreamcast. It was to be published by ASCII Entertainment in late 2000. But due to changes in the company structure, they withdrawn themselves from the video game console business entirely and decided to work more on PC and IT publishing business. Thanks to a few other issues, like trying to find another publisher, the game was sadly never actually made. It was to have a similar feel to the predecessor Metal Max 2, with your main characters being 3 people and a dog. Alright. Its plot was announced as the grandest love story of the series. Okay. And would also have seen the first game in the series to have 3D graphics. While we did never get to see this on the Dreamcast, a lot of influences and ideas in the game were apparently then moved over to a much later game. In fact, 2018 game. Metal Max Xeno for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. So yeah, it took quite a while for those concepts to make it to an actual game, but they did eventually. So I guess all is not lost for some other games that have never made it. Maybe someday. And Doan's saying I get to play with Scrabble tiles in the next game. Oh yeah, Doan's doing the 24-hour charity tabletop gaming event that's going on at Sheffield University at the moment. SEGA saying Metal Max reminds them of Mad Max from the gameplay. I think so. That was some of the inspiration for it. Electric Boogaloo is saying ASCII Entertainment in the US, that was spun off as the independent Agitech, as far as I know. Yeah, I don't know a huge amount about the publishing business in the US in that era. I know some bits about the European one, but the US one is not my strong point. So you could be right, I don't know. I did manage to find some of the music from Metal Max Xeno, actually, for the PS4, so... And it's actually, there's a really good, I think it's the main theme, it's called Roar of Steel, and it's a really good theme. Also got, because X-Fighters was never made, I dug through Midway's library, and of course, dug up Mortal Kombat for the Mega Drive, so we'll have one of the tracks from Mortal Kombat as well. So we've got Metal Max Xeno Roar of Steel, and after that, Mortal Kombat Hall. No, Age Tech. Okay. Age Tech is Agitech. It's hard to tell when it's written down. I'm sorry, Electric Boogaloo. Right, so let's have some more music, and I'll speak to you all again after the break. And we are back. And that was Mortal Kombat on the Mega Drive Hall, and before that Metal Max Xeno Roar of Steel. Electric Boogaloo is saying the cancelled Wild Eyes was eventually revisited in the most recent game in the Metal Max series. I did say that. I'm pretty sure I said that. So yeah, Metal Max Xeno was published by NIS America, the same people that publish the Hyperdimension Neptunia series, which I'm a fan of. Which also has a bunch of Sega references in it, because of course it does. Right, so now to a game that was set to be ported to 2 different Sega consoles, only to then be cancelled. Well, the game itself wasn't cancelled, the ports were. Scud Race was originally an arcade racer similar to Daytona USA. Scud Race, and Scud stands for Super Card Ultimate Drive, or Sega Super GT in the US, was the first racing game to use the Sega Model 3 hardware. The hardware of which may be something I cover in another show, maybe. And it was set to get a port to the Sega Saturn, but was planned for because of falling sales and the concentration on making games for the Dreamcast. The project was then moved over to the Dreamcast, and a tech demo was shown as part of the Dreamcast presentation in 1998. But for unknown reasons, the game port was cancelled, and as far as I'm aware, it's never actually got a home console release. Somebody like, say, Electric Boogaloo might know that. Electric Boogaloo is saying, I missed that. Yeah, I did say that a lot of the concepts and ideas for Xeno were actually moved over to... the ideas for Metal Max Wild Eyes were moved over to Metal Max Xeno on the PlayStation 4 and Vita. So, where am I now? I have lost my place. There we go. Right, this next game got hit with some fairly serious bad luck. Outcast was an action-adventure game which was published by Infogrames and developed by Appeal in 1999 for Windows PC. While the game itself was apparently really great to play, and the story, which involved parallel worlds and aspects of time travel, was very compelling by all accounts, it just didn't sell very well, making it a broad commercial failure. To this day, Outcast gets a lot of love from the retro PC community, who have done a lot of mods for it and have tried doing campaigns to have it ported to, well, more recent devices, let's say. There was a plan to port the game to Dreamcast, but since it didn't actually sell very well, the port was stopped before any real development work had been done on it. Outcast is actually worth looking up, because apparently it is a great game by all accounts, even though it's published by Infogrames and I have issues with Infogrames. For reasons. Electric Boogaloo is saying that Scud Race may have been cancelled because it had something to do with licensing issues with the cars. That's possible. Such a thing has happened many times in the past, causing severe problems. Hooray, licensing issues and IP. Don't we just love them? Let's have some more music. So from Scud Race, we've got Groove in Daylight, and then afterwards I managed to find the title theme for Outcast. So I hope you enjoy those, and I'll speak to you again after the break.
You're listening to Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.
We are back. And that was Outcast title theme, and before that we had Scud Race Grooving Daylight. Electric Boogaloo is saying that they want to correct themselves regarding the ASCII publisher for Metal Max Wild Eyes. The ASCII that they were talking about is the Japanese side of the company, who pulled themselves from the console market. Not to be confused with the US side, formerly known as ASCII Entertainment, that spun off into Age Tech. Electric Boogaloo offers their apologies, saying that they were a bit confused with the wording of the Wikipedia article. Wild Eyes did not seem to have a Western release planned. Okay, well that's a little bit clearer. Wikipedia occasionally, especially when it's dealing with non-Western information, does tend to get a little bit confusing. Possibly a translation thing, maybe? Hard to say. Anyway, our last cancelled game for tonight was something that would have been pretty ambitious and adventurous for a Dreamcast. It was referred to as Project Revolution and was set to be an FPS game that had a beta launched at E3 in 2000. It was developed by Talonsoft in conjunction with Volition, and you would play the role of a miner on a distant planet who was planning on aiding a rebellion against an oppressive government. So far, so standard. The game was planned on having an 8-person multiplayer by using the Dreamcast's online support and an arena mode where you could have up to 18 players. What? How in the name of any number of gods that would have been managed on the network connections of the time, I do not know, but it's impressive that they were going to try. There were also 2-player mission modes available and 4-player battle modes. I assume they were local modes. The information I was looking at wasn't too clear, but I think those were local multiplayer modes. One of the biggest software developments for this team was a reflex geographic software, which would have allowed for nearly limitless destructible environments. The software was renamed to GeoMod by Volition later in development. Sadly, this version of the game was cancelled for the Dreamcast, but the idea and the unfinished beta were later taken by Volition and ported to the PS2 under a new name, which some of you might recognise, Red Faction. So a great idea was snatched away from the Dreamcast and put on the PS2, because of course. Okay, Red Faction is not exactly, like, the best game in the world, but some of this stuff was really ambitious, and if they could have pulled it off, it would have been one hell of a coup for the Dreamcast. Now, where was I? So yeah, I did get some music from Red Faction, because obviously Volition didn't release the version under the Project Revolution name, but I do have a track from Red Faction. And Electric Boogaloo also requested a track from me last week before I decided this was going to be a Dreamcast exclusive. Electric Boogaloo decided to ask for a track from Sonic Extreme, so I'll play that in a minute. Oh, one other thing about the Reflex geographic or geomod thing. The idea of the destruction, this actually predates the Havoc engine. Because as far as I'm aware, Havoc was either 2001 or 2002. This would predate that. Which is pretty interesting to me. Because Havoc obviously got all of the attention for doing the destructible environment thing. And this would have predated it, which is a bit of a shame. It never actually came out. Electric Boogaloo is saying broadband adapters did eventually become a thing on the Dreamcast, as far as I remember. They did, and you can still get them. They are hideously expensive because they're quite rare. As far as I'm concerned, one of the major problems with that the Dreamcast had was that the network infrastructure just didn't exist in most countries. So most people were stuck on 56k dial-up, which was incredibly expensive and really slow. They just didn't have the infrastructure backup to actually do some of the stuff that would have been really impressive. Anyway. Electric Boogaloo is saying the Havoc SDK debuted in 2000. I thought it was later than that. Oh, okay. Fair enough. They could have been competing then, which would have been very interesting. Anyway, let's have some more music. So, from Red Faction, we have Storm. And from Sonic Extreme, we have Circuit Centerfold. So yeah, we can all now be sad about the death of the Dreamcast and the fact that it was ahead of its time and a lot of the online functionality it had. I really need to get hold of a Dreamcast so I can actually connect my Dreamcast to the internet again. Or steal my RetroPie away from Grey4 and do it myself. But he'll probably cry. Anyway, right, so Red Faction Storm will actually play some music, I promise. And after that, Circuit Centerfold from Sonic Extreme. Enjoy.
You're listening to Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.
I see.
And we are back, and Discord chat is discussing whether or not the noise that dial-up modems make is actually the result of demonic possession. I think it would explain a great deal. I'm not convinced it's not, and I have a degree in network engineering, so take that as you will. Yeah, that was Circuit Centerfold from Sonic Extreme. That was requested by Electric Boogaloo. And Electric Boogaloo saying, I never said it wasn't a demon. Yeah, so before Circuit Centerfold, it was Red Faction Storm. I hope you enjoyed those. Right. So, let's move on to Chiptune Corner. I still really need to have a sweeper for this, but I haven't got one, so Chiptune Corner, yay! Continuing in my quest to introduce you all to some of the more famous and popular chiptune artists, today I am going to introduce you to Null Sleep. Null Sleep, aka Jeremiah Johnson, is an American chiptune artist who almost exclusively uses the original Game Boy and Nintendo NES sound chips to create music. He's previously cited 80s electronica bands such as Depeche Mode as being strong influences, and has even created an 11-minute long Depeche Mode chiptune megamix. Now, I'm not going to punish you by playing an 11-minute long chiptune song, although the megamix is worth looking up. Instead, I'm going to play a slightly shorter song from Null Sleep called Her Laser Light Eyes. And now people are talking about fax machines. Maybe today it's demonic because there are still some fax machines which still do it. I'm grateful for saying, why do people still use faxes? Who knows? When I was working for the NHS, we actually had to fax in our timesheets. We couldn't send them by email. And all of us who had to send in the timesheets kept kind of looking at each other like, what century are we in? It was very bizarre. Okay. So, chiptune cornery type stuff. Here is Null Sleep, Her Laser Light Eyes. Please let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you again after the break. And we are back. And that was Null Sleep, Her Laser Light Eyes. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Null Sleep actually have a whole bunch of stuff that's worth finding and listening to. I'll see if I can find another great chiptune artist to introduce you all to next week. Well, probably not next week, actually. The week after. Because I won't be doing a show next week because next week is my husband Greyfall's birthday, so I will probably be busy getting drunk and having fun. So, but I am always accepting suggestions for new show topics, so you can suggest ones that you want me to do the week after next. You can contact me through Discord. You can find me through the Radio Sega Discord, where I am Skyblaze42, or you can contact me through Twitter, where I am @BlazingSkies, or you can reach me through the Radio Sega Facebook, or the Radio Sega Twitter if you prefer to get hold of me that way. Right. So, thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in this week. Thanks to Dan and Serga and Greyfall and Electric Boogaloo and Green Viper and Twinny. Thanks to Twinny for doing the social media today, including all the extra bits that he puts up on the Radio Sega Twitter for you to enjoy. So yeah, that has been the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll have one last track before I close off everything. But after me, we've got Gavi with Saturday Night Sega, so stay tuned for that. He's got a really good show lined up for you. He said that there might be some new albums debuting on his show. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. I've been Skyblaze. This has been the Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. Good night, guys, and take care. One last track for tonight. We've got Sir Nuts, Sonic Adventure Lightspeed from our friends over at Ose Remix. Thanks again. Good night. Take care.
Enjoyed the show? Check out the full Radio Sega live schedule at radiose.ga/shows. Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.